From recruiting and consulting firm Riderflex, I'm your host, Steve Urban, and here is your Riderflex episode of the day. And on today's episode of the Riderflex podcast, here are my top 10 job interview mistakes, an updated list because today is August 16th, 2020. I've done numerous episodes on all the different things you can do wrong in a job interview, but here's an updated list. If you're a job candidate in the market, whether you're unemployed or not, if you're about to go to an interview, just listen to these 10 items and ask yourself if you're screwing any of these up. Now, I know you're thinking, oh, I've been interviewing for 25 years. I know what to do. I know what to say. Are you sure? Have you practiced lately? Here's some good reminders. By the way, these are not in rank order. They're more in, interview flow order. You ready? Number one, you can't tell me about yourself. So often I will say, so Mary, tell me about yourself. I want to start like a YouTube comedy channel of the people that screw that up. If you can't give a very nice, minute to 2 minute simple overview when somebody says, tell me about yourself, you need to practice. Okay. By the way, I've done specific episodes on that topic. I even give an example in one of my episodes that you can look up. So number one is you need to be able to answer the question, tell me about yourself. That's number one. Number two, technical difficulties. In today's world, by the way, August 16th, 2020, you better know how to use Zoom and any other video chat platform that the recruiter or the employer is asking you to sign on to. If you spend the first 3 or 4 minutes messing around with your mic or the camera or whatever, or you can't get connected, I'm just telling you it's a bad sign and it could put negative energy around your job interview. It throws up so many caution flags about you as a candidate. So number two is tech difficulties. Be ready, practice it, download it, whatever, do it with a friend. If you've never used Zoom before, then do a Zoom interview with a friend. Be ready for it. No technical difficulties when the interview starts. Number three, you didn't do your homework on the company or the person interviewing you. I've done so many episodes on this topic as well, specific episodes on this topic alone. If you're interviewing for a job and you haven't studied the company inside and out, and you haven't looked up the person that's interviewing you on LinkedIn or anything else, or maybe any of the executives that work there, like if you didn't do any homework to prep for the interview, you're not going to get the job, okay? Unless the company is just absolutely desperate, okay? And do you really want that job anyway? So please, if you're interviewing, study the company, their website, their social media, etc. Look up the person interviewing you. It's really easy. Just look them up on LinkedIn. Know something about them. Be ready. Do your homework. That's number three. Number four, you can't tell me why you want to work there. So often candidates can't really describe why they want to work for that specific company or in that specific industry. Be ready to talk about that. Have reasons for it. If the interviewer gets a sense that it's just another job for you, does that make you an attractive candidate? No. Be ready to talk about why you want to work there, for that industry, for that company, for that team. Okay? Number five, do not say anything negative about your former employer at all, period. The boss, the company, nothing. Same thing, by the way. I've done numerous episodes just on that topic alone. Never say anything negative. I don't care if it was the worst company on the planet and your boss was super psycho and mean and whatever. Like, I don't care what it was. Do not say anything negative about your job, your previous job, the boss, or anything like that. And I've done numerous episodes on that topic, and you can look up examples on how best to answer that question in some of my previous episodes. Okay. Next, number six, don't be cocky. So often candidates, especially senior level candidates, older candidates that have been executives before, maybe they're interviewing for a job that's beneath a responsibility they used to have. So often they are cocky, they got a chip on their shoulder, and you can smell it and see it from a mile away. That is a big time turnoff. Stop doing it. Be humble in your approach. Number 7, don't be nervous, right? Don't be super cocky, but don't be super nervous either, right? It's somewhere in between. I like to call it humbly confident. Ooh, there's a catchy term for you, right? Humbly confident is probably best. Okay. Number 8, have a closing statement ready at the back end of the interview. So often people don't have this ready either. They don't practice for it at all. As the interview wraps up towards the end, they are likely to say something like, so Johnny, is there anything else you want to share with us or tell us about or emphasize? When that comes up, man, that's your closing statement. Again, I've done numerous episodes on that specific topic with examples. Look them up, study it, prepare for it. Number 9, you don't have any questions. You didn't prepare any questions. I know this sounds like a no-brainer. You'd be surprised how many people screw this up, right? The interviewer will say, so Mary, do you have any questions for us? No, not really. Most of my questions got answered from the first person I talked to, so I'm good. That's just such a terrible answer. It almost makes it look like you don't care. You're not interested in the job. I don't care if all your questions did get answered in the first round or the second round. Always bring additional new or maybe even the same questions to whoever you are talking to. I don't care if it's the 6th round of the interview. Have questions. Okay? Sorry, I'm getting passionate as I move through the list here. All right, number 10. You ready? Number 10 might be the most important. You're just not personable. You're not likable. So you're a turnoff. People they just didn't get a good vibe about you. That's number 10. So often we will hear from clients here at Riderflex. I've said this a million times. They will call us and they'll say, yeah, I talked to Johnny and, he's qualified and everything, but I just didn't like him really. And they don't even really give us a reason why. Like they never really go into any specifics. They're just like, yeah, he was okay. I'm like, what do you mean he was okay? His resume is the same as Joe Bob, who you talked to yesterday that you loved. It's the same resume almost. Like, what are you talking about? You know why they didn't like you? Because you're just not personable. You're not a likable person. You don't have good people skills. So you don't communicate well. You don't put off a good vibe about you. If you are a candidate that has a super high IQ, you're super smart and you've done lots of things and you have tons of accomplishments and you went to, Harvard, it doesn't matter if you're an asshole. Okay. If you don't have basic people skills, if you don't know how to get people to like you in an initial meeting, like if you can't do that, like if you're the type of person that goes to like a dinner party, like a social party, and everybody avoids you and nobody talks to you, it doesn't matter if you're super smart, right? Who cares? Like they don't want to be around you. They don't want you on the team. So yes, it's important. Be likable, be a personable candidate that people want to be around, and it'll give you a much better chance of landing the job. There are my top 10 updated mistakes for job interviews. And there is your Riderflex tip of the day. The Riderflex podcast features entrepreneurs, business executives, and the stories behind how they got there, as well as daily tips on career advice and job interviews. Our show can be heard just about anywhere these days, but you can visit riderflex.com and click on the podcast page to hear all the previous episodes and learn more about the recruiting and consulting services we provide. Contact us at the email address info@riderflex.com or 888-964-5876. Thanks so much for listening, and if you enjoy our show, please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like the episodes.